What's cracking like? It's your boy Broshmo. Just in case you did not know someone, we're back again once again, and we're going to be going over the tackle class in the 2021 NFL Draft. Of course, if you're a Bro Scout tier member, you won't just get my top 10, but you will get my full ranking. So go ahead, join today if you want to get my full rankings, my full big board, and you'll get access to the Discord as well. It's the best way to support the channel, and all support is much appreciated and much obliged. And by all support, I mean, hey, go ahead and become a bro and subscribe. What are you doing? Leave that thumbs up if you enjoy the content. It helps the video out a ton. And indulge in that nice, sensual, romantic football discourse in the comment section below. Let me know how your tackle list looks, because it'll probably look different than mine, at least after the top three. Like, this is a pretty deep tackle class in terms of maybe the first 3 rounds. So I think our boards are going to look a lot very different, and these guys, they're not made for every scheme. So again, it might look different in that regard, and some of these guys could get drafted over others. But yeah, I guess without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get into the nitty gritty, and we're gonna start with Penei Soule, man. He opted out in 2020. Quite frankly, didn't need it. He's just a special combination of power and movement skills. Like, this guy is very fleet of foot. If the one knock you're going to have is he played in a very screen-heavy offense, nor did he really face any top-tier talent there at Oregon. But being in that screen offense, the guy was on the move, and he was on the move a lot. And his, like, he's strong, dude. His punches, literally, it's like 300 Spartan kick down a well. It's that type of, like, punch in the strike zone. It just it literally kills whoever receives it. They're basically out of the play. They're done. A lot of people will bring up that, well, I mean, Rashawn, Slater, and Soule, because Slater, a lot of people want to say Slater, hey, he deserves to be in this conversation. And yeah, I think you can make a case for Slater being over Soule, but because they have very similar length. That was a thing. Oh, Slater's arms are too short. Well, look at Soule's. Slater's arms are too short. Soule's aren't that long as either. He's just a little over 32 inches, which is a little below average in terms of your tackle. The difference is the movement ability. While yes, Rashawn Slater, he is very athletic in his own right, Soule is awfully athletic, 30 pounds heavier. That's a big difference. It's a big difference in the NFL. That's why I got him as a top 10 pick in this class. Big fan of Soule. And then next on this list is the guy I was talking about, Rashawn Slater. Man, I love how everyone got on the bandwagon with Rashawn Slater. Like, what, October of this draft class? He decided to opt out. And you could go back. You could go. I always bring this up because people think I'm not high on Slater, and they're dead wrong. I had him round like 20th on my big board right after the 2020 draft. I was like, this guy's a dark horse. Watch out for him. Then he opted out, and I was like, he's probably now a second round pick, because a lot of people, well, they're not gonna have a lot. They're not gonna know him. Well, I was dead wrong. Everyone and their mom was like, oh, he's a better prospect than Soule. They had him in the top 10. And I was like, this is crazy. This is ridiculous. They project him. He could be a guard. He could be a center. That's all projection. The guy, he played 2 seasons at right tackle, was solid. Played 1 season at left tackle, was phenomenal. Extremely athletic. We saw it at the pro day. Again, biggest concerns, the arm length, the size at 6'4", 304 pounds, but extremely athletic. We saw what he did against Chase Young on a couple of snaps, but the dude is just a natural athlete, very technically sound, probably one of the most technically sound edge talents in this class. My problem with him, unlike Soule, Slater has a bit of a light anchor. I think he will get pushed back by bull rushers, While, yes, very technically sound, when you meet NFL power, it just hits different. But ridiculous athlete. I got him as a top 15 pick. I'm still very high on him. And then I have Christian also as a top 15 pick. He's just NFL ready. He's got the size. He's got the power. He played in a very zone-heavy scheme there at Virginia Tech. He had 2 consistent years of just good play, and then it jumped up to elite this past season. Really, and the thing was, he ran through a gauntlet. He faced many, well, very high draftable players this past year. And you had Chris Rump, Victor Demikiji, Carlos Basham. You had the pass rushers from Miami, Jalen Phillips, Quincy Roche. So he faced a lot of good talent. The dude's just physically imposing too. That's the thing, dude. He's got the size, he's got the build, ideally for a tackle in the NFL. He's got the length as well, but he brings that power element to his game, man. And I love it because like he strings off like combos with his hands, moving to the next level. Very nice, very powerful upper body, just moves men against their will, especially with Roche, man. Roche had a really bad outing against Darisaw. Run heavy scheme there at Tech, but like I said, it was zone heavy. If anything, if we're gonna knock him, I guess he was nursing an injury, didn't get to participate at his pro day in any of the drills. So some people may question his athleticism. I'm not worried about that. He's pretty good at getting to the second level, and at times he will be quick to open up the outside to pass rushers, mainly quicker pass rushers. So prematurely he will kind of let him in like that. But I mean, he's so strong. It's like good luck getting off that block. Like once he engages, you're stuck. You're in his web. That's like I said, top 15, man. I'm a big fan. And then I have Tevin Jenkins out of Oklahoma State here. 6'6", 317. I think he's a first rounder. He's extremely strong. Just tosses men against their will, man. He had 36 reps on the bench, 225. I wish I could get one up. I used to. Not anymore, though. Not anymore. I need to hit the gym again. Very good at getting into the second level. Part of that is the scheme he played there at Oklahoma State. There's not a ton of NFL concepts, at least Russian in that scheme. It's it's like a wide zones option, and they run a lot of inside zone. It's more so they're more so running backs are opting to run to the interior, so between like the A and B gaps. So you'll see the thing with Jenkins, he's very good at getting to the second level, but far too often when he gets there, he takes himself out of the play because he kind of lunges. He plays kind of ahead of himself, plays a bit forward, as you would say. But I like that he does get to the second level. He shows a bit of athleticism. Definitely more of a straight line mover than a lateral mover. The biggest way you can point that out is the Ronnie Perkins rep, the one rep Ronnie Perkins that put his name on the map that he had against Jenkins. Jenkins just kind of he was just too slow, man. Laterally, like he just couldn't get in front of Jenkins. Jenkins basically just went right past him. One rep, and literally sullies his whole stock. So many times I've seen on Twitter that one rep Perkins just flying by Jenkins, and like Jenkins, there's no way he's a first round caliber player, and it's like, how are you gonna take away a whole just a whole large sample size, large production he's had there at Oklahoma State? It's kind of dirty. His hands are strong. He uses them well. He makes it very hard for defenders to kind of get into his strike zone right here with that nice thick body. How Perkins won, I think, is kind of important because it's not like he got inside. He kind of used his leverage to the outside, kind of the shoulder area, to push him back. So it was just a case where, again, Perkins just got the best of him on one snap. In the Big 12, he's not often facing stacked fronts. Like more times than not, they're 3 to 4 man fronts, so it's never overloaded. So it's hard to say that he was really tested a ton there. But I love the strength. It's NFL strength and beyond. And just, yeah, dude, I love the movement skills. On to the next. We have Samuel Cosmi. Freaky pro day. Like, it's first round worthy. If any other tackle class, he might be going 1 or 2. Here I have him at 5. Athleticism, easily the best quality. You'll hear people say, oh, he's like a oversized tight end at times, which, I mean, he does have a red zone touchdown receiving. So it's kind of warranted. He's the most battle tested in terms as a pass protector. He has almost 500 true pass sets. So that just basically it takes out spikes, play actions. Basically it brings it to the truest, hey, this is a pass in play. So they treat it as such because you block differently on play actions. He can be more functionally strong on the field. I could say that because you could look at his pro day and be like, man, this guy's ridiculously strong. Doesn't necessarily play like that all the time. I think he sinks pretty low in the run game, but it doesn't happen in the passing game. He could play too high at times, and he's just kind of welcoming a bull rusher to come in, just out leverage the heck out of him. That's kind of my concern. Because of that, on pass rush and snaps, balance not always great. If guys do get there under his pads, and just kind of lift him, push him back. We kind of saw quicker pass rushers kind of get the best of him at times. Clavon Chazon's kind of an easy example to point to, because that's a guy that was just literally cutting his teeth on kind of developing pass rush moves and how he beat Cosme. It wasn't technically sound by any means. It was literally just pure speed off the edge. And that's the thing, dude. With him, sometimes he's late out of his stance, and that was kind of the case at that point against Chason. But dude had a banger of a pro day. You know the traits, everything's there for him to be like. I think he's a starter from day one, could be a pro bowler in the future too. So I like Cosme a lot. Then I have Dylan Radins, guy. A lot of people, it's weird. This guy has a lot of strange movement along a lot of people's rankings. Some people were high on him from the start, said he was a first round caliber talent. I wasn't a part of that. I will never claim to be a part of that because I specifically said he needs a Senior Bowl. I need to see him against better competition. I just want to see how he does. Had that Senior Bowl, and you know what? Kind of killed it. He had one of the highest, if not the highest, win rate at the Senior Bowl. It was just nice to see him come in against NFL caliber talent and belong. That's really what I wanted to see from him. He really dominated the one-on-one drills. His technique, superb. It's up there with some of the best in here, like Eichenberg, like Slater. It's right up there with those guys. He's got a solid anchor, but again, this is against lesser competition. He's not facing guys that will sniff the NFL. So I think he can play stronger, but it'll be something to see. He's a bit thin. Played in a run heavy offense there at North Dakota. I've probably been saying North Carolina this whole time. North Dakota State. But yeah, played in a run heavy. But like I said, I'm not too worried because just how he played at the Senior Bowl, it was phenomenal. So I think that kind of like worried anything. If anything, I'm worried about just play strength at the NFL level. So I could see him going late first, early second. Phenomenal talent, great tackle class. And then my second round prospects start with Walker Little. This is a guy that just a couple of years ago I was saying needs to move into guard. And some things have changed since then. Because the more I looked at him, right, mainly kind of the past off season, like looking at him before he decided to opt out, which really sucked. It would have been nice to see him play, but a lot of that's on the Pac-12. But because last time we saw him play was 2019 against Northwestern, and that was the season opener, and he looked exceptionally good. He looked like a much better pass protector. That was never kind of my concern. Like was a pretty darn good run blocker and a pro style offense there. I wanted to just see him do better pass protecting things. And you kind of saw that at the tail end of 2018, and then at the season opener in 2019, got hurt. missed the whole season, decided to opt out. But the guy, he's got a deep anchor. Good luck moving him off his spot. He's very physically imposing. Great foot speed. I think he does have the and we kind of you saw the pro day. This guy can move. He can move, and I think he could really mirror anybody. So I'm a bit high on that. And speaking of high, another guy. Again, you get to that 6'6", 6'7", and it kind of becomes a concern that, oh, this guy may get out leveraged at the next level. So I do worry about that. Sometimes he does open up his hips prematurely, kind of what I talked about with Jenkins, where he'll kind of open up the outside a bit early. He does that. The biggest question, though, this is the biggest question, because again, came out, looked great at the pro day. He's been working with coach Paul Alexander, and Paul Alexander said he's one of the best prospects he's ever worked with. Those are really that's a really big coming from him. That's why I keep mocking him to the Bengals in the second round, man. I'm just saying, I'm connecting dots. Paul Alexander kind of has some history with the Bengals. He was a former offensive line coach there for what felt like 30, 40, 50 years. But it's just we don't know what kind of development he's undergone. We haven't seen him play football in 2 seasons. So that is a bit concerning. But again, I think those traits just warrant a day 2 pick. And then I have Jackson Carman here at 8. A lot of people probably be surprised. I like Carman a lot, man. A lot of people think he could move into guard, but why? He's got great size. He's actually been shedding weight. He's got great size. He was pretty athletic playing at, I think initially 335, and he got down to 317 for his pro day. Very physical, athletic upside out the wazoo. He literally was probably one of this man kept Trevor Lawrence as clean as he could, especially this past season when the rest of that offensive line was struggling and failing. Just going to throw that out there. Saw a big improvement in terms of how he used his hands in 2020. And I kind of talked about how the rest of the Clemson offensive line just say it, they sucked. We saw that against Ohio State. Jackson Carman was very solid against a very scary and dangerous Ohio State defensive line. The rest of the line did a terrible job. Solid pass protector, despite things in his technique that he could definitely work on. He is a bit slow out of his stance. Being a bigger guy, that doesn't surprise me. Shedding the weight, I'm kind of intrigued. Maybe he's a bit quicker out of that. Then again, I'm kind of more in the belief of I'd rather guys who are athletic put on weight and retain their athleticism rather than guys shedding weight trying to be more athletic. I just don't think it works sometimes that other way. I'd rather the first option than the second. So again, we're just something we'll have to see. Speedy rushers might be a concern. Times he did still drag his feet, but he was playing at 335. It'd be nice to see. And I wish this guy was qualified for the Senior Bowl, being a junior. He couldn't. So I'm very intrigued. I think he's totally warrants a second round pick. And then a guy that's probably flying up everyone's boards, Brayden Christensen, another dude that just had a ridiculous pro day, great RAS score. He'll be 23 on draft day, so he's probably going to be the oldest among the guys here in my top 10. But he's very patient. He's a very sticky blocker. Good luck getting off him. Once he sinks his hooks in, it's almost like you're done. You're dead in the water. Apart from when he had to face the one competition that they had all year there at BYU, which was it Houston or was it UAB? I think it was Houston, because I think it was Peyton Turner just mollywopped him. Let me check this real quick. Should have wrote it down. It was in fact Houston. Okay. Yeah. Peyton Turner just mollywopped him. But Peyton Turner also probably going to be regarded as a day 2 pick. Still, I would have liked to see him perform well against kind of like draftable prospects. He didn't really face anybody outside of I think it was Taryn Jackson at Coastal Carolina, but he's going to be a late prospect opposed to Turner, who's going to be like a day 2 guy. Wish he got an invite to the Senior Bowl. Didn't happen. He ended up getting going to one of the sub bowls. I don't think it was the Hula Bowl. I can't remember. It might have been East West Shrine. Can't recall off the top of my head. But if anything, I would say he's a bit stiff in how he moves, a bit robotic. Like his technique is sound, but like just how he goes about it, it doesn't look natural. So while he kind of is very athletic for the position, it doesn't necessarily look it. Y'all know y'all probably have met people that are like, they're very athletic. They just look awkward as heck, dude, when moving. Much like Turner, in the case with Turner, if he's facing more powerful edge rushers, like he will be moved off his anchor. He does a good job, though, trying to resetting. Just at times he can't hold that reset against those guys. But again, I'm kind of pulling from this small sample size of how he did against Peyton Turner on a handful of snaps. But again, that's the competition he faced. That was the elite of the elite there. You know, that's kind of what I want to focus on. But again, the workout was jaw dropping. Even if he ends up just converting to guard, I'm willing to take a shot on this guy and maybe hope he is a tackle at the next level. But yeah, dude, technique flawless, just great footwork. I like the guy. And then my final one on the list, unless of course you're a Bro Scout tier member, you'll get the rest of my rankings here because hey, it gets deeper. But number 10, I got Alex Leatherwood. I'll go ahead and give you my 11 because I kind of flip flop between him and Liam Eichenberg. Both guys probably might end up at guard at the next level. More likely Eichenberg than Leatherwood. So that's why Leatherwood, I have him edging him out. That and Leatherwood has a bit more upside athletically, which isn't saying much because Leatherwood, probably his biggest knock is athleticism. And I wouldn't even say athleticism. I think at times he just plays lazy. He just drags his feet. It doesn't look like he's there. We saw this at the beginning during Senior Bowl week at the beginning where he was like beat on back-to-back snaps by Quincy Roche and William Bradley Keene. These more quicker pass rushers. They just got the best of him. Like literally, it was like he was just dragging his feet. It was ugly. But he got it together by day 2 of practice. Day 3 looked solid. Like that's the thing. It's like I felt like I was looking at 2 different players that whole from the guy that started the week to the guy that ended the week. It was very strange. But regardless, I think teams are going to give him a shot to play on the outside because of length and strength. And he was a very consistent pass protector there at Alabama at left tackle. So he's constantly facing the best of the best. And he did it for 3 seasons. Kind of already touched up on quicker pass rush will kind of expose him. Explosive athleticism. It's not top tier. It just happens to be better than Eichenberg's. But yeah, I'm not going to worry about him as a run blocker. And he does have experience at guard, which is nice. He played a little bit of guard in 2018. So I'm firmly in the camp of, hey, this guy, I'm willing to take him in the second round and put him at tackle. I could kind of say the same thing about Eichenberg, but I think more than likely they're going to look at Eichenberg's length and throw him at guard. But yeah, that's it for the video. Go ahead and do that YouTube thing. It's always much appreciated, much obliged. And until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.